Hi guys, my name is Dinithi and welcome back to my channel. So today it is a bit of a different video I'm doing, and it's the first of its kind, right? And that is from the title, how I annotate books. To be honest, I'm very new to this, okay? I started to annotate a few months, like a month ago, and you guys have been asking me to do a video, so I looked up on like how people usually do these kind of videos, so I'm gonna follow that same questions, I would say. Right, to start off with, let me tell you why I annotate books, right? So this started out with me annotating my favorite series, City of Brass. I read this book already. So this was my second time reading it, so that means when I wanted to annotate the things that I noticed in retrospect, right? And I wanted to talk about it because I do plan to make a separate video on City of Brass alone and like the whole Deobar trilogy, but it's gonna be a long one, so I haven't attempted it yet. It's just it's overwhelming just to think about it because I have a lot of things to say, so I wanted to annotate so I can remember things and discuss them. I ended up really like doing it, so what I thought I would do is, like, for me, why I annotate is because I want to remember certain things from books that I really enjoy, right? And it doesn't mean I'm gonna annotate every 5-star I read or every reread. I'm not gonna do that, right? For one thing, it's because it's very expensive, because the tabs that I use, I have to order them from Daras. I have to order them online, and they are very costly. So I can't afford to annotate every single book I read, and I don't want to, because the whole reason I want to annotate is to remember certain things, and it doesn't really happen often, so thank God. And I'm still like learning as I go, right? I just started doing this, so my plan for now is to annotate the books that I have read already and I want to reread, right? So when I'm rereading it, I want to annotate and like tab different things or different lines or dialogues or whatever it is that I want to remember and I want to go back on, and if I want to like just flip through and read those parts, I would like to do that. There are books that I want to do that, especially with like Gideon and Project Hail Mary and City of Brass, which is what I'm doing now. Like, there are things that I remember from time to time and I just can't find them because like I don't have a mark or like a tab of where it is. So that's the main reason why I want to annotate. Now moving on to the tools I use. I don't have a lot because I only tab the book. I don't write on it, I don't highlight or do anything, and I'll get to that later. But yeah, so because this is my first time and I've never done it, I ordered like a variety of tabs to see what works for me and what I like aesthetically, and how, like, in terms of like being easy to use, or how many tabs are in one of these things. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, so I got this and I have this and this is what I'm currently using to tab Kingdom of Copper, right? So now I will be very honest with you, and I'll do this and tell you like these are the two that I would recommend. This one is really bad. This is a shit sticky note. It's like paper, and even the glue doesn't work, so I hate that I bought this. I'll use it for something else, but I'm not going to use it to tab anything. I haven't tried this one, so I can't tell you, but judging from the fact that these are all both like the same brand, I'm guessing it's just not as good either. But yeah, these kind of tabs are really good. They are transparent and they're very easy. They don't bend, right? So it's all and the colors are these are like very toned down matte colors, and I really like this. So I did order a few more, and they'll probably come in like a few months. So those are the things I use to tab. Now let's move on to how I tab. Oh, before that, I forgot. So these tabs, I don't have them anymore. These are the normal tabs you can get from like Sarasari or whatever. Like, these are the tabs that you used in school. You know, I remember using these. But yeah, I don't really like these colors that much. That's why I wanted like a solid matte colors as opposed to these bright ones. But anyway, like, moving on to how I tab them, what I usually do is I don't have a universal tabbing system, which is what I noticed with a lot of people. Maybe I will one day, but right now I don't, right? Now I have two ways of doing it, right? Because sometimes I will find a book like this one, The Long Way to a Small Emily Planet, which this is a very rare occasion where this is a book I'm reading for the first time, and I want to annotate them because I'm very interested to learn about these new things and I want to like keep track of them, right? Okay, so that's a different way of annotating it. But if I'm doing like my normal annotation where I'm annotating like the books I've already read, that means I know what happens. So what I normally do is I leave a tab, I leave a color for foreshadowing, like things that I am noticing for the second time around in retrospect, and things that are interesting or whatever. Like there's a lot of that in City of Brass, and like those are the blue tabs. So if you see, there's a lot of that here. And then I always leave tabs for like the 3 perspectives or the characters that I really like. For City of Brass, it's definitely like all 3 characters, so they have very specific different types. So I think pink is Dara, orange is Nari, and yellow is Ali. So then I have green for the history. Every time they mention anything to do with the history of Devabad and the wars that happened or anything related to the history, I tab them. And also religion, history, everything, the world, I think, yeah, for this, the world, religion and history, everything I put all in one tab, which is green. So I don't have a universal tabbing system. I usually tab according to the book, and I just assign different things to like different colors depending on the book. So that's for books that I've already read. Right now, for books like these, I usually have now I couldn't do this for City of Brass, but for all these tabbings, I usually keep like I do this, right? I keep like track of what each color means. So for here, I have characters, humans, aliens, intimacy, science, world building, ships. So anything related to those I tab, because while I was reading it, I realized that okay, there are so many interesting things that I really want to know in this book, especially because this is the first book in a series. I knew that they would come back, right? So I want to be able to go back and read the things that I noticed, and I want to know where they are. And the other thing I want to do is that if you can see, there's a lot of tabbing here and not as much in this book. That's because it's not any less interesting. It's because I need to save these. So I am very particular about what I tab and when I tab them, because I need to at least use these for a few books before I run out. Like I said, because they're very expensive right now. So I don't want to tab everything, but I'm tabbing like the things I really, really want to remember. So that is what I do when it comes to annotating. Now I want to mention a few things that I don't do, which I've seen a lot of people do, and that is write on the book or highlight or use sticky notes or write my reaction or what I thought about it when I was reading it first. So those things I don't do. Personally for me, it's because I don't want to write on my books, right? I used to write my name on them and where I got them and the date I got them as well, but I stopped doing that because I feel like I have no intention of getting rid of these books anytime soon, right? I want them here with me, but for whatever reason, and who knows, we don't know, right, what could happen, but I want to be able to keep these books as it is without having to write on them or do anything, because even if I were to gift a book that is meaningful to me and I want somebody to have it, I don't want them to like read it with my reactions and what I thought inside it, right? I would want them to read it as a new book. So that's one of the reasons I don't write on my books. And yeah, it's kind of like a pet peeve of mine. I don't mind doing other people doing it. I even follow people who do it, and it's actually pretty cool. Sometimes I really wish I could do it, but I just like watching like these annotation videos. I like watching like scrolling on Instagram or like following people who do that. But personally, I don't do it for my books. So my only source of annotation is the tabbing system, and that's all I'm gonna use. So that's about it in terms of like me annotating stuff. But if I were to like give you any tips like from what I learned from like doing it, I just started. So from what I learned is that don't over annotate, because the whole idea is for you to remember certain specific things that are profound or beautiful or some things you want to remember. So if you annotate the entire book, that the purpose of it kind of goes away. So it doesn't make sense to annotate every single thing you like. So maybe just pick and choose what you want to remember, and things that you might feel like will come again later and you want to like look back on. So those are like the things that I learned, and again from what I said, like, and also it's expensive. So if you're living in Sri Lanka and you know this stuff, then be very careful with how you use these tabs, because they're not very expensive, but you know what I mean, right? We can't afford to have these sweet things in life anymore without being careful. So that's the I would say that's like the biggest tips I can give you. And I have to say, like, for me, right, what I learned is that the reason I want to annotate books that I really liked and want to read again, all books I feel like while I'm reading it, I can feel like, oh my god, this is going to be like 100 stars, right? Gideon, Long Way to a Small Land of Planet. Those are books that from like the first few chapters, I know this is my kind of book. So then I would definitely annotate even before I read them. But I will tell you, like, if you are starting out, maybe annotate like a reread, because that way it's very easy for you to assign colors and understand, and like assign colors, and you know what happens, right? So you're not gonna run out of like colors in the middle of the book because you've assigned all the colors. I would say start with a reread and see how it goes. Now for me, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm so happy that these things have a ruler, because I want all of this, right, to be on the same level. So I have this thing where I measure it before I paste it. So yeah, the other thing is, I noticed that people often question how long does it take longer to read if you are annotating. I'm guessing it does if you are highlighting or writing on it, but for me it really doesn't. It's just me taking out a tab and putting it on the paper. So, and that's also another reason why I don't want to highlight or write or anything, because I read books in so many different places and in different occasions, right? I might listen to an audiobook and cook, or I might listen to an audiobook and do chores, or I read on my bed or my sofa. So I don't want to have to carry all these pens and pencils and sticky notes, all of that, every time I read. And because for me, I know it's gonna get very hectic and I'm not gonna enjoy reading anymore. That happens. So what I do is I usually just use the tab as my bookmark, and then I just like I put that in my current read and I take it with me. So even if I'm reading an audiobook, I'll keep the book somewhere close by. So if I want to, if it's like a really important line that I really want to annotate, I will just go and tab it, and that's about it. Yeah, for me it doesn't take that much longer, just because I'm tabbing my books. And that's it, guys. That is a very small video about how I annotate my books. I've only been doing it, like I said, for a very short amount of time, but I love it. I can't believe I haven't done this before. And honestly, like, it's these tabs that did it for me. Like, the colors are so nice, I didn't mind using them on my books. So yeah, thanks to those. And I honestly didn't have a reason to tab before, but yeah, I feel like this is a great way to do. It's a great way to just put like some additional beauty into your reading. And I like it. And you can annotate any way you want, right? You don't have to follow these rules. Like, I feel like do it for you, and if you want a universal typing system, do it so that you can have like the same assigned colors for all the books you read. But for me, it's very hard for me to do that, because I like books for different books for different reasons. So it's very hard for me to like assign one color and say like, oh, I'm gonna leave pink for the world building, when sometimes I might want to use pink for science or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, make it your own and just make it fun. You know, you don't have to like stick to like any rules or anything. There's nothing like that. It's completely up to you, and it's part of like the fun of reading. But if this takes away your enjoyment from reading, I wouldn't recommend you do it, because others are doing it. So yeah, that's about it. I will leave I will leave the good tabs on the description below, so you can check them out. I hope you like this video. Give a thumbs up if you do, and subscribe, because I do make videos every Sunday and the occasional video on Thursday. And I hope you are here for the long run, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye.